Hello everyone, welcome back to another Maya 2015 tutorial. This one is going to be on how to do retops on high-res models. So I'm going to import a 3D scan. Most of the time this kind of application would be used not necessarily for retopping 3D scans, but more if you were sculpting in high-res and want to do a retop for any kind of animation or game use. So go to File, go to do an import, so go to Import, and I have a file called Groot, which I've already 3D scanned, and I'll just import that. You may notice it's not right here on the grid. It's because it's really big and it's kind of just found its own little home down here. So okay, I can make that work. Okay, so before we get going here, I'm going to go ahead and rename this guy here. I'm going to call this one Mesh 3D Scan. Enter. And now I'm going to add a layer so I can keep this guy on its own little layer while I'm working. So underneath your channel layer box editor at the very bottom here, there's this little icon that's like a piece of paper with a little light on top of it. We're going to use that. So it says create a new layer. So now I have this new layer here. I'm going to name it, so I'll just double click on that. I'm going to call this one 3D Scan Reference. Oops. It's going to go to save. Oh, I can't put spaces, that's right. Underscores then. There we go. Save that. Can't put numbers either. Okay. I'll just get rid of 3D scan, just put called scan reference. There we go. Now it's happy. Alright, so now I got to add this 3D scan to the layer. So it's already been selected, so I'm just going to right mouse button, go add selected objects, and now it is part of this reference layer, so I can turn the visibility off and on. Okay, so looks like the poly count on this 3D scan is about 128,000 polygons. Seems like Maya's 3 port's working okay, so I'm not going to do a cleanup on this and try to reduce this a whole bunch. I'll just retop it straight up. If Maya was chugging, I'd probably go through and go to Mesh, do a cleanup, and then a reduce. And that would help reduce the amount of polygons we got going on here and make it to where Maya will work a little evenly. So if your computer is chugging, go to Optimize underneath Mesh, do a cleanup first, and then go to Reduce and do like a 20% reduction, and that should retain the basic shape and get rid of all this unnecessary polygons. Okay, so we're just going to dive right on in here. I'm going to turn this onto a live surface. Right now it is just an object in our scene. To be able to retop it, we need to make it towards the live surface so that our quad draw tool will work on it. So I'm going to use this little magnet here. With this selected here, I'll turn it to a live surface. And if you look right next to the magnet, now it says Mesh 3D Scan. That means that this is our live surface in the scene. Okay, so that also means that now I can't select this object since it's live. Okay, so that's perfect. I'm now going to open up my modeling toolkit. So my modeling toolkit is this icon here at the very top right on the end of this little line. Gives you these tools you use very frequently when it comes to modeling, and the one we're going to be using mainly is this one right here. It says Quad Draw. So I'll activate that one. The way the Quad Draw tool works is you left mouse button click on this face here, and it'll put a dot. So let's say I'm going to make the bottom part of his maw here. So let's say, for instance, I'm just going to go dot, 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 just kind of trace out what his jawline is going to be. Add in these corresponding dots because I want to make quads out of here. So then now I have these dots that are paralleling these bottom dots, and I'll just hold down Shift, and then Maya will try to figure out where the quads are that I want. So every time I'm happy with a quad that it's assuming I want between these dots, I'll press left mouse button, holding down shift here, left mouse button, and it completes that quad for us. So I can go down here, go down the line, holding shift, and just complete all these quads here. I can just complete this out. If you want to move a dot, you can just grab a dot and just move it around until you're happy with this position. Okay. Now, most of the time when I'm modeling, I'm going to do this with all of the model except for the head, since he's got these like head pieces here that kind of all tweak off in one direction. I'm going to keep this part of the head asymmetrical. Everything else in the body is going to be a symmetrical model, so I'll just do half of everything and move it around and get it positioned. So for right now, I'm just going to keep going forward here. So matching his jawline, just going forward. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 edges off of that. So we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4 edges. Okay. Okay, so now I'm going to use this line here to kind of define, well, maybe I'll use this one. So use that to kind of define his maw area. Now the key here is I know that a lot of you are going to be looking at this and be like, I want to go and add a bunch of resolution here, make this look like it's totally mapping over this thing perfectly. And the more resolution you add in here, really the more problems you're going to be creating for yourself. Because all of your geometry has to eventually connect to itself in some way. So if you're adding in a bunch of geometry going through the eyes or trying to attain a shape, that all has to run into something somewhere. So if you want to make your life a whole lot easier, use just enough geometry to keep the shape. Otherwise, you're just going to be making your life require a bunch more work to get the end result. And realistically, at the end, it's going to look the same. With all that extra geometry, you may get a little extra sharpness, but it's going to require a lot of work for you. Okay. We'll get over here. Okay. So this little maw area here is done. Now the eyes, since they're circular, I'm going to actually do those ones separately and then attach them into this. Otherwise, I won't have the same kind of organic after. The way the edge flow works with the face, kind of see how this jaw is kind of working its way back up into the head. The eyes have like this circular kind of shape, so you want the resolution around the eyes to be circular and not just flowing straight up and into it. So what I mean kind of is like, I'll just go in here and start kind of giving you an example, but instead of like, going up and over, I'm going to kind of route this down where it's okay, and there we go. There we go. So that's kind of what I'm after. Could always refine the shape if I'm not quite happy with where the edges line up. But now I can have this run right back down into it, so I can just hold down Shift and kind of complete that. I can just do something like that. That kind of captures the eye and the nose area. Alright, so that's good. Yeah, I'm not going to do that one quite yet. Let's keep working our way around here. Like I said, this isn't going to be symmetrical, which is fine. Most heads are not. Well, pretty much no head is symmetrical. But a lot of times when you're doing 3D modeling, people like to work with symmetry, making sure everything on the right matches on the left. I'm just trying to get generally close to it. I don't really care if it matches. It'll actually look better if it doesn't quite match, but I do want the edge flow to kind of line up. Alright, that looks almost good. Let's push this guy down here. Kind of like that. Okay, that looks good enough. Like I said, I'm not going for perfection. Alright, so now I can just go ahead and start filling this out, having this run down into the geometry below. That's all looking pretty good. Now this is a retop, so if you end up doing like what I just did there, like that, and you have a hole, and you're like, oops, I have a hole, don't just keep working forward. This is about having a good final project. You've already done like, you know, the high-res sculpt. You don't want to have to deal with holes after the fact. Just hit Control-Z, go back, undo that last command, and then do it correctly. This stage of the project is about having a good final project or product, not having another part of the puzzle you're going to have to go through and fix, or slow you down to have to go through a second time around and clean it up. So. Sorry for all the background noise. Got the kiddo going in and out, and I got people calling here and there. So, but just keep on working. Just keep pushing forward. Okay, that's looking good. I'm gonna push this out a little bit further so that this edge flow geometry will kind of line up more with this little ear thing that's kind of coming out. Okay, kind of. So if the one on this side had a little bit better edge flow, that's okay. I can, like I said, it's not supposed to be asymmetrical. That being said, though, you can always go through and learn something you did differently on one side and have a better final product going forward. Another thing I want to point out is if you end up with a bunch of points on the side here, ones you're not using, you can always go to clear dots at the bottom here in your modeling toolkit. With your quad tri active, you can go ahead and clear dots. That'll get rid of extra dots you have that you have no use for. Okay. Now once you get up to the top here, you're going to end up having a little bit of difficulty with these upper roots here. They are challenging, I'm not going to lie to you. Okay, so I have the forehead and all the face pretty much taken care of. I'm just going to go ahead and, well, actually, you know what? We're at 20 minutes right now. I'm going to go ahead and stop the video for right now, and in the next lesson, we're going to deal with finishing the neck and the top of the head, and then we should be done with the head portion. We'll get it kind of set up in on the side here, so that our retopped model is away from our 3D mesh, so we can start positioning it in 3D and getting all the pieces organized as we're retopping them, so they're all fit together nice and neat for our final model. Okay, so thanks for listening, and I'll see you guys in the next lesson.